Thanks for joining us. This is the N-to-1 for Game YouTube channel, and we have some battle styles decks for you. Today it's, what is it? Koko VMAX with Trode. Which Trode, do you ask? The VIV Voltage Trode. It has not been a game-breaking card, but we're going to try to make it that way. We've been getting these lists from, sources across Japanese Poke Twitter. And we're going to see if we can get this list and translate it into some success here in the team up through battle styles, standard format. And I seem to have misplaced the deck list, so I'm going to be pulling that up. But yes, Primeape with Jinx and Houndoom. Primeape is a Pokemon that, for 2 fighting energy, you can do 50 damage times the number of Pokemon on your bench with damage counters. And then I'm pulling up the list right now. Yeah, 4/4 line of Primeape single strike. And this is the important part. It has single strike in its name, so you can attach the single strike energy to it. And there are 4 of them. They boost your attack's damage by 20. You use Houndoom, single strike roar to attach search your deck for a single strike energy and attach to one of your Pokemon. So you get that in addition to your regular attachment for the turn. Whether this specific list is going to have an impact on the metagame, that's that is time will tell. But the ability for a single prize Pokemon to do that much damage. Anyway, so I start with the Koko V, and just to be clear here, I have both Koko Vs. I've got the one with the free retreat from Sword and Shield, Spike draw 20, draw 2 cards, it's 1 energy, and Thunderous Bolt does 200 for 2 lightning and a colorless. And then I've got the other Koko VMAX, or the other Koko V, which just does 40 for 1 lightning energy and 20 Spiral Thunder. It's the other one for 2 lightning and a colorless. It does 20 plus 40 more for each energy attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. Which I don't think is relevant in this match because you're not going to have a lot of energy on your opponent's Pokemon. And there we go. Look at that. So my opponent, that's Omar on the left, by the way, just in case I didn't say that already. And that's me on the right. I was excited about playing this deck, and I put down my my Voltorb. But yes, my opponent just discarded the Emboar for Tower of Darkness to draw 2 cards. So we've got Emboar in this deck. And Emboar is a Pokemon that just increases the attack's damage of your Pokemon, your single strike Pokemon, by 30. And you get it in play with the Mustard Single Strike, which is a supporter. So I don't think you're going to see it in game 1, but you will. Actually, I don't remember what game he plays it in. But Mustard Single Strike, search your deck and put a single strike Pokemon in play, then draw 5 cards, and it's just like it's just like the Archie's Blastoise. Archie's Blastoise. I just throw Blastoise in there. It's just like Archie's. The delicious supporter from Expanded, but instead of having to get it out of your discard pile, just get out of your deck. So, and you have to have 0 cards in hand. This deck I opted to play. I put 4 Tower of Darkness in there, and just a Stadium Nav, just to really, really make sure I get it. There's also a Tyranitar V in there. The single strike energy provides either fighting or darkness when it's attached to a single strike Pokemon. You can see I counter-gymmed him by taking out the Tower of Darkness and putting in my Power Plant. Power Plant is not going to help me necessarily because my opponent's not running any GXs with abilities. And at this point, I'm clarifying to my opponent how exactly Koko VMAX's attack works, which I don't have it in play yet, but you know, he just needed a bit of a clarification. But yeah, I just put in power. I just played Power Plant just to prevent my opponent from using Tower of Darkness's effect, because I can't benefit from it. I don't have any single strike Pokemon in this deck. This deck is straight lightning. I think literally every card is lightning. Even my like side attack or my emergency like Vikavolt V, that's lightning. But so yeah. And I'm at this point I'm telling my opponent what the scoop up net is for. It's for Jinx, so you can use its ability twice. So the Jinx is just to move damage counters around, because Primeape's attack is 50 damage times the number of your opponent's or of your own benched Pokemon with damage counters on it, and not the number of damage counters, just the number of Pokemon that have damage counters. I'm about to lay down to Dene, and I realize I've got Power Plant, so I'm like, nope. Pass turn. So he's got that Jinx active. You can never attack with Jinx. Has there ever been a Jinx deck that actually lets you attack with Jinx? So we've got so my friend on the side is talking about getting that Jinx out of the active spot, and there is scoop up net, and there is 2 air balloon here, so we can do that. The list could potentially benefit from a switch. All right, so he goes for the Professor's Research. We've got 4 of them in deck, and he gets the Primeape, the main star of the show. He gets a single strike energy on there. And he puts the damage counters on. I don't think he uses Jinx's ability yet. And then I remind Omar to use the ability. If this was a tournament match, you know, I think Omar would be on his own. But you know, this is a teaching moment for you, the viewer. So, my turn. I stick a lightning energy on the Tapu Koko V. And it looks like I still don't have that Electrode yet. So I use Crushing Hammer to try to slow my opponent down. I get heads, and yes, the heads rolled off screen. I should probably look out for that in the future. And I use Spike Draw for 20, and I draw 2 cards. And that extra 20 damage is not to be relevant, like, because the Koko VMAX swings for 180. It's 180 for 2 lightning and 1 colorless. It's 180 damage, and if you're behind on prizes, the defending Pokemon is paralyzed. No coin flip, just they're paralyzed. And I gotta give a shout out to, you know, in the last 8 or 9 years, you know, the card creators figuring out new ways to introduce paralysis into the game. Because paralysis used to be just a coin flip. Which, you know, if it's going to be a coin flip, I mean, why not just make it sleep? I know thematically you have to have paralysis still, because paralysis is related to lightning type, you know, electric type in the video game. You know, whereas sleep has to do with, you know, like the ghost and psychic types that put you to sleep. Like, I understand a thematic reason for differentiating paralysis and sleep. Omar uses Pokémon. Did he use Pokémon? I was looking away from the mansion, looking at my list. I'm checking the discard pile to see if he got rid of all of his mustard single strike. He still has one left. And he gets a second Houndoom in play. But so you've got attacks like in the last 9 years of the game, where it induces paralysis, but under certain conditions. So no coin flip. Feels good. And let's get rid of that power plant. He puts a Tower of Darkness in there. So I still don't have the Koko VMAX out yet. And Koko VMAX, or Koko V is weak to fighting. So he could hypothetically knock out my Koko V this turn. You know, if I don't have a way to stop weakness, and if you know, if he can get the Jinx out of the active spot. So the Koko VMAX list is playing 2 weakness guard energy. Alright, so there we go. Omar uses this is Pokémon. So I do have 2 weakness guard in the deck. These decks were not made specifically to go against each other in this match. They were made for just general. Yeah, and Locke comes from off screen to make sure Omar used Jinx's ability, the Ominous Pressure, the correct number of times. So it looks like he's got 4 Pokemon in play with damage counters on them. So Omar passed turn. I get the Koko VMAX in play. And our friend Locke is off screen, making sure Omar has the proper number of damage counters. There's a dispute. Okay, so it seems that Omar may have put a damage counter, a single strike energy on put a single strike energy on a Pokemon from his hand and put a damage counter on it. And so it seems that he may have messed up. So we decide to terminate the game right there. So let's see. So the Primeape deck has 4 fighting energy, basic 4 single strike energy, 1 Embor, 2 Jinx, 4 quick ball, 2 level ball, 3 Pokecom. But okay, yeah. So I guess I'll finish my thing. You know, about lightning types. My friends are giggling about how the Houndoom was totally readable. Omar read it wrong, or you know, ignored its meaning. I guess he ignored the text on it. Omar, the card, the proxy is in English because they do have an English language image of it already, and so Locke is just having a laugh at that. Locke is our friend. He's off screen. You saw his hand a little bit there, but he sees things. He's observant. So there we go. I'm showing my hand. I say there are not a lot of Pokemon in this deck, so you know I might mulligan a lot. But what was my thing I was saying about thematically? I understand why they need to keep paralysis in the game, and I appreciate that they've found out ways to turn paralysis into something other than flip a coin if they're paralyzed, like the Decken cover. It's I forget what Pokemon it was, but from one of the plasma sets, I think, where it's 50 damage for 2 colorless, and then you know, you make it not too broken by it paralyzes them automatically, but then the Pokemon has to go into your deck. So you got stuff like that. And this, you can't paralyze your opponent indefinitely because you have to be behind on prizes for the paralysis to happen. So I like that. Hats off to the people who come up with these new effects, these new ways to do the special condition of paralyzed. So there we go. I get the discarding Power Plant for the quick ball. I discard Power Plant because there's no use for Power Plant in the deck except for to shut off his single strike stadium, his Tower of Darkness. Omar just noted. And I said, yeah, that's what I did last game, isn't it? My deck is running 4 Crushing Hammer. You've got adequate energy acceleration in the Primeape deck, so probably not too useful here. But again, these decks are just general lists. They're not made to counter each other. They're not made specifically for this match. So there we go. I've got 2 Voltorb in play, so you know, if somehow my active Voltorb gets stuck, or you know, Omar Marnie's away my hand and I can't play that second Voltorb. Well, now I've got both Voltorb in play. I appreciate the simplicity of the Koko VMAX list. Got 4 Hammer, 3 Reset Stamp, 2 Evolution Incense. So let's see. A pretty simple draw engine. 4 Professor's Research, 4 Marnie. Got 9 lightning energy. Omar's got the Tower of Darkness. He discards a Houndour or Houndoom. And Omar notes that his 2 cards he drew were terrible. He has a Stadium Nav in his hand. Not helpful right now. Omar's still thinking here. I complain about not being able to use my hammers because Omar does not have any of the 8 energy from his deck are not in play. All right, I eat the hand. And there we go. I get an Electrode in play. Get a second Electrode in play. And the Electrode gets, when you use its ability, it gets knocked out, and you get to take 2 energy from your deck. And I think it has to be lightning. 2 energy from your deck, and you attach it to one of your Pokemon. I tell Omar to take a prize. So there we go. So there we go. I've got the energy on the Koko VMAX, and I can start killing things. And again, just keep in mind that at the points in the match where I have the weakness guard energy in play, my opponent is not going to do double damage, which, of course, would be very convenient. But if weakness guard energy, I jokingly tell my opponent he's paralyzed, in addition to the 180 damage. 180 is enough to knock out everything in Omar's deck. He's still thinking. There we go. So we get a Mankey. There we go. So he's got a second Mankey in play. Anytime the weakness guard energy is not on my Koko VMAX, my opponent's going to be swinging for whatever he swing for, plus, and double. And when I don't have weakness guard energy, it'll just be the normal amount of damage. With just 2 Pokemon with damage counters, the Primeape deck would be doing 100 damage, and most likely it's going to have a single strike energy on it, so that's going to be 120. And there are going to be other ways to increase damage on this attack. I'm sure not necessarily in this deck, but just in general. And if you play this Primeape deck in Expanded, you're going to have access to a lot of fun tools. Like we definitely talked about doing an expanded version of this attack. Omar and Locke are still trying to settle how much damage counters are needed in order to get a knockout on my Koko VMAX. But yeah, in Expanded, you have a slew of other tools to increase damage. And so we see the Houndour on the bench, Houndoom. He's got a Jinx in play. So here we go. Omar's got the the Primeape on the bench. Mankey active. Got another Mankey. Okay, Omar retracts the Mankey on the bench. And he passes turn. So you've got the benched Primeape ready to go, but either he can't get the Mankey out of the active spot, or he just realizes he doesn't have enough damage counters in order to get this one-hit KO on the Koko VMAX. You can see I've got my second power plant, my final power plant in play. Again, just an attempt to slow my opponent down from using his Tower of Darkness. The fewer cards he can draw, the fewer options he has. And I really like this Tower of Darkness. You know, who knows? Maybe it'll find a use in decks that are not centered around single strike Pokemon. Just the ability to just draw 2 cards and you don't waste your supporter slot for the turn. And get a high five off the professor's research. For recovery, the Primeape deck has Ordinary Rod. You know, if you run out of Pokemon, or you need to discard them for the Tower of Darkness, you can get them back. And you've only got 4 basic energy, so you can always get those back just in case you need them. To get back single strike energy, you've got 3 Vitality Jar. Cards busted, you know. You could maybe even go for a 4th Vitality Jar. I blow up the second Trode in order to get the benched Koko V powered up, and because I can see the writing on the wall, you know. I can see that that this Koko VMAX that's in an active spot could die, so I knock out his Pokemon. And yes, Koko V, the Sword and Shield one, does an automatic 200. So, yes, it can knock out everything in Omar's deck. So why even bother evolving? That's a good question, and the answer is because Koko VMAX has an extra, 208, or let me do that. It has an extra 120 HP, and thus makes it less likely to be knocked out. So, yeah, it's a delicate math thing you gotta do. Is it worth evolving this Koko VMAX? Omar goes for the single strike roar. Is it worth evolving a Koko VMAX because you're surrendering an extra prize? If it prevents them from getting a knockout in time to win the game, then yeah, it's probably worth it. And this is one of those, in the era of tag teams, you have to do this calculus. You have to, because winning a game is no longer drawing 6 prizes anymore, not necessarily. You could force them to, in theory, you could force them to draw, 8 prizes to win the game. Excuse me. Not in this match necessarily. I don't know. I can't do this math on the fly. But the point is, if your opponent has just, so Locke and Omar are just making sure he has enough damage counters to knock out my Koko VMAX, and he in fact does. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, if you have a 3 prize Pokemon in play and your opponent, I reset stamp my opponent. So my opponent has 2 prizes from me using Electrode's ability. All right, I just gave it to him, gave him 2 prizes, and then he knocked out Koko VMAX. So he has 1 prize left, and I reset stamp him to 1. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah, if your opponent has only 1 prize left, yeah, having a 3 prizer, well, you know, yeah, of course, you want a Pokemon with the maximum HP. I get rid of my hand with research. So there was a Celosaur deck last season, the 2018 to 2019 season, that ran 3 Shaman from Lost Thunder, I think. Point of the Shaman, one of the cool things you do with a Shaman is if they knock out 2 Shaman, then they knock out Celosaur. That's 5 prizes. And then you have another Celosaur in play, and if they knock that out, that means it is an 8 prize game. There we go. I knock out his Primeape with Koko VMAX, and I just pray that I get to live at least another turn. So you can see up on the table there, almost got 1 prize. And my Koko VMAX deck has 2 prizes left. It's coming down to the wire. Okay, that's a little too dramatic. I'm having fun watching this. Like, I'm not throwing this deck in the garbage after I recorded this this video. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So that Celosaur deck, you could force your opponent to draw 8 prizes in order to win the game, and so you've got a similar kind of calculation you got to do here. Right. So actually here, yeah, same exact thing. My opponent has 1 prize left, but he basically has to draw 8 prizes in order to win the game. And there we go. I've got a weakness guard for extra protection. So, defensive measure. Oh, there we go. I boss his order, and I get his main attacker up. And I knock it out, and I take a prize, and I think I may have counted my prizes wrong. I think now I have 2 prizes left. Video's a little blurry. And Omar's using Vitality Jar. Put energy in there. No Primeape right now to attach the Single Strike energy to with the Single Strike Roar ability. But maybe he'll get it next turn. Omar's got the Tyranitar. I don't think he found much use for it in this particular situation. Especially since with a game like this, you do want to slow me down. You do want to force me to take single prize turns, right? But if you get that Tyranitar in play, well, then, I'm getting 2 prizes, off of a knockout. But I guess, no, because that still takes 2 turns. I mean, I guess I could one-hit KO a Tyranitar V if I had 2 Electra power. But that's not in this deck because this is a standard match. But Tyranitar takes 3 energy to attack anyway, so... And he doesn't have... He's still ensuring that he's got the right number of energy in play, because he did have no Primeape, no Mankey. He's got a Mankey now. So we haven't seen him use the Mustard Single Strike Supporter yet. This match was so much fun. Oh my gosh. Definitely going to work on the Koko VMAX deck. Worked on the Primeape deck. We definitely made some improvements to the deck, which you'll see on this channel. So I've got no power plants left. I discarded 1 early game, and one of them he bumped with his Tower of Darkness. I'm checking my opponent's discard pile. So I failed the Evolution Incense. A quick ball. And so the Dedenne here, which seems like a risky move, because my opponent has 1 prize. And so instead of forcing my opponent to get his last prize by doing 320, he could get his last prize by only doing 160 of the Dedenne. But there is a reason I get the Dedenne out, and that is so that I can have instant access to my, hopefully get access to my boss's order that turn. I've got a weakness guard energy, and I chuckle at it. And we have a spectator off screen saying Omar should do double crushing hammers, which he can't do because that's not in his deck list. But yeah, I just want boss's order so I can pull up the pull up the Primeape, pull up the Mankey before it evolves. Oh, and I get a Tapu Koko Prism Star too, and that's risky. So I just do Dance of the Ancients just to play it for the sake of playing it. So in theory, I could use my GX attack and paralyze my opponent. I don't get the boss's order, so I draw prize, and I just have to live one turn in order to win this game. So he uses Single Strike Roar. Boom, gets an energy on Primeape. So Omar notes that if he got the boss energy, that he could have pulled up the Dedenne and won the game. And Omar asks me why I played Dedenne. I tell him, so I could get Crushing Hammer. So that's actually why I got the Dedenne, is so I could get Crushing Hammer. And I was counting on one of Omar's single strike energies being in his prizes, because Crushing Hammer obviously doesn't hurt much because he has got energy acceleration in the form of single strike roar. But yeah, just counting on one of his single strike energies being in his prizes, which didn't seem to be the case, unfortunately. But yeah, Omar thinks it was a mistake to play the Dedenne, and ultimately, you know, after the fact, yeah, it didn't help me. So yeah, I wanted the hammer. That was the real reason. Omar's looking for ways to not lose the game. We did the math and realized that just don't have enough. And he does 240, then I knock him out and I take the last prize. And so we go into the next game. We're calling that game that we just finished game 1, and we're calling the next game game 2. I think just because Omar messed up the single strike roar effect. So the deck, the Koko VMAX deck has 9 energy, which seems fair. I'm probably not going to mess with that. I mean, every deck list could be optimized, so you know, maybe it needs another speed lightning energy. I've only got 3. You know, why not one more? So just getting ready for game 3. Omar's praying that he doesn't start Jinx. And I promise Omar, if he starts Jinx, we will take Jinx. You know, we will severely change the deck list so to mitigate the harm done by starting with Jinx. But he does not start with Jinx. He starts with Mankey. Oh, and he tells me he top decked the Jinx. So Omar wants to go first, of course. He level balls to get a Houndour. So the level ball can get something that's under 100 HP. So we're talking Houndour, Mew, Jinx, or Mankey. And the quick ball, which we have 4 of, can just get any basic. Omar's counting his deck. There's 3 Houndoom total in the deck. 2 of them are prized, so he thinks he might have lost. We've got lock off screen saying that if he just attaches manually to Primeape and gets a quick knockout, that, you know, he can draw 2 prizes on the Koko V. And has, you know, with 6 prizes and two cards drawn from those prizes from one Koko V knockout, 2 of them are Houndoom. He's got pretty good chances of drawing, drawing what he needs. So he attaches Air Balloon to the Mankey and retreats for Jinx. So I have no Pokemon. I need a Pokemon off of my speed lightning energy. And it looks like I don't have it. So I Crushing Hammer to try to slow him down. Tails fails. Omar says he's looking forward to getting the single strike stadium, the Tower of Darkness. I'm going to be greedy. Boss's order. and just try to get some quick knockouts here because my hand is just bad. I don't have... I need Pokemon. I need that Voltorb in play so I can evolve it to Electrode. I don't have... But I spiked draw for 20, draw 2 cards. Oh, he moves damage counters with Jinx that I spike drawn. And I was like, oh yeah, he can do that. I can spike draw, damage him for 20, and he can move the damage counter. All right, so Speed Lightning Energy, I got a second one. And then I get the second Koko V. And I hit for another 20. Omar moves some damage around with Ominous Pressure. And he gets it. He empties his hand. He gets the Mustard Single Strike. And instead of getting Emboar, he gets a Houndoom. And I congratulate and insult my opponent for getting the busted Mustard Single Strike play. He empties his hand and he's searching his deck for what he wants. And then he gets to draw 5 cards. And he's not going for the Emboar, he's going for the Houndoom. And I'm pointing to my friend off camera how excited I am that he actually pulled off the Mustard Single Strike. So there we go. Omar uses Houndoom's ability to get a Single Strike energy on the Primeape. Puts damage counters on it. Attaches to the active, so he can retreat, I assume. Yeah. And there we go. And we've got the we've got the Primeape with 2 energy on it and no weakness guard. So yes, he gets a knockout on the Koko VMAX. And I still don't have the Electrode. Maybe I'll get a Voltorb in play this turn. I'm showing my opponent my terrible hand. I don't have anything to get Electrode in play. So a quick ball for Dedenne because I'm desperate here. I just don't have anything. I don't have anything to advance the game. In a way that works for me. I have a way to lose. There we go. Speed lightning energy. And I get a quick ball, so that should help a little bit. I yeet a lightning energy, and there we go. There's my Voltorb. So if I can live for another turn, might just survive. Might just not lose the game right away. And Omar's pointing out I should probably evolve. And I discard the hand for Dedenne. I note that my hand is so much better. I got a second Voltorb. So I got thinking about a second Koko, and then I lay it down. You know, I'm watching my bench space because I might need a Koko Prism Star. I'm thinking about the hammer. I lay it down, and I flip for it. Maybe my thing will roll on camera. There we go. So heads. And I just get rid of the fighting energy, and I do it myself because my opponent is looking at our teammate off screen while I do it. And I'm retreating for Dedenne just because it's a lot less critical. And I pass. So just hope I can last a little bit longer here. I can, in theory, you know, watch my opponent draw prizes and then slow him down with reset stamp. Now, if I reset stamp him to 1, worst case scenario, he can still draw with, you know, with Professor's Research if that's what he draws, you know. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw is just what affects the outcome of the match. Boss's Order, the Koko V, and he does the math to make sure, and he makes sure he has another energy attached to it, and just making sure he has the correct number of energy. And he knocks me out, and things are looking pretty bad. So, yeah. Prize situation is not good. I lay down a Vikavolt just in case I need to trainer lock him. And I use Buzzap Generator to give him his last prize. You know, I go down on purpose. And so we're going into what we have decided is now game 3. And I choose to go first. Battle Styles has over 160 cards. 60 of these cards are going to have the Rapid Striker Single Strike marker on them. 12 Pokemon V, 6 Pokemon VMAX. One of them is Koko VMAX. Honestly, I don't think any of this stuff is as critical. It, you know, is having a massive day or a massive you know, impact on the metagame. Kind of like Vivid Voltage, you know, not a lot of cards with a discernible and obvious effect on the overall, you know, popular decks and standard strategies. But we'll see. I could be wrong. Maybe this Primeape thing is going to take off. Maybe someone's going to build a better deck, and Primeape's just going to beat everything. Everything that doesn't run ADP. You know, I mean, that's the problem too, right? Like, the Primeape has, what is it, 130, I think? Pull it up. 120 HP. So, yeah, you know, if they've got Arceus, Dialga, Palkia GX, they can just do 180 damage to it after they've done the GX attack, right? they can just do 180 damage to it and take 2 prizes, and then do that again, 2 more times and just win the game. So I speed lightning energy, draw 2. This third game turns out a little bit better for me because there we go, turn 1, and I am getting the Electrode. I throw in the Koko VMAX, and I get the Voltorb, so I can play Electrode next turn. And the great thing is about Koko V is, yes, it's nice to evolve, but evolving is not as crucial as it is evolving the Voltorb. Because at least the Koko V, it still works. Because you need to attack. And I'm just clarifying to my opponent that I need to shuffle the Pokemon that I put in with Pokecom. You can attack with Koko V even if you haven't evolved it, but the Electrode, it doesn't work unless you evolve the Voltorb. Voltorb by itself is just worthless. This Koko V just by itself is worthless. It's not worthless. Omar's got the second Mankey in play. He's got the Pokénav for the professor's research, I think. Or, no, he's playing Pokénav twice. So there we go. He's got a way to get the Jinx out of the active spot. He discards the Houndour for Tower of Darkness. And then he plays the, doesn't get too much useful there, so he just plays the Professor's Research. You got the second Houndour down. Omar passes turn. And this is something, that Omar and other people who tested this deck were having trouble with, was having these turns where they just have to pass turn. Because you do have energy acceleration, but you got to have the Primeape. You have to evolve the Mankey to Primeape. I mean, the Mankey, just by itself, I think the Mankey just does like 50 damage. It's for 2 colorless, and it's one of those flip a coin of heads. The attack does nothing, which is not helpful when you're going up against 320 HP Koko VMAX. I said for 2 colors, for a fighting in a colorless. 50, flip a coin, if Tails' attack does nothing. The Primeape's attack, his first attack, which is, usually just an act of desperation. But it's Field Crush, 20 damage. Your opponent, or if your opponent has a Stadium in play, discard it. So, getting that Koko VMAX ready. I've got the energy to attack. I said the VMAX. I need to actually get the VMAX before I call it a VMAX. And I play Evo Incense, so presumably I'm getting it. There we go. Speed Lightning Energy to the benched Koko. I get another Voltorb. And the beauty of Voltorb is a boss's order, and I knock out the Primeape, or the Mankey. So the beauty of having Voltorb down is even if he knocks out the Voltorb, even if he boss's order and knocks out the Voltorb, it's still okay, because he's wasted a turn knocking out a single prizer. And if it's just a battle of knocking out single prizers, then obviously I win. You know, my deck is paced. It's paced to be able to knock out, in this matchup, it's paced to knock out single prizers in time to, you know, win the game before he, you know, draws 6 prizes, before he draws his 6 prizes. So even if he wastes a boss's order on Voltorb, then that's fine. That's a non-problem. Especially here, because I've got this big, beefy Koko VMAX that still has 3 energy on it. It's still ready to go the turn after. So yeah, that Voltorb's safe, and even if it's not, no big deal. So Omar's got a second Jinx in play. And just in case I did not clarify, the Jinx Ominous Pressure, it's once during your turn, so it's not like Deluge, Blastoise. You know, it's not like one of those things where you can just do it an unlimited number of times. You know, just once per turn. So we can always. So there is a benefit to having 2 Jinx in play, and there's a benefit to scoop up netting a Jinx whose ability you've already used. You know, Scoop Up Net is just busted card, man. In all formats. You know, works on Jirachi, Stellar Wish. You know, if they've used the ability, you can just use it again by picking it up and put it back down. And Omar whipping out the mustard single strike again, and I am just busting my gut here. So Omar's got 6 Pokemon in play. He sends up the Houndour. I guess that's just the safe choice. Hammer Flip, get rid of the single strike energy, and you know, again, he's got energy acceleration, but I guess what I'm counting on here is maybe his vitality jars are prized, or you know, just that he can't draw into them. And I get an easy knockout on the Houndour. He knew that was coming. He sent up the free retreat Houndour because it's got Air Balloon attached to it. Attaches single strike energy to the Primeape. Plays Quick Ball. He gets rid of the professor's research. Okay. So Omar was just joking about the about the Mustard. Now he's actually playing the Mustard. And he's getting a Houndoom with Mustard, not Emboar. And he's bragging about single strike Mustard, the Houndoom card twice. You know, and if we put Palpat in the deck, who knows how many times he could play Mustard. Hey, there we go. There's a project for our fans. Somebody build a Palpad Mustard single strike deck. 4 Palpad, 4 Mustard single strike, and just have a deck that's based around playing Mustard as many times as possible. Somebody do that for us. Discards a single strike energy for Tower of Darkness. Gutsy move, but he draws the Vitality Jar. So boom. He shuffles them into the deck. So in Expanded, you can play Vitality Jar, and you can play Special Charge on your single strike energy. That would be pretty fun. So Omar's debating who to stick the energy on. And he's using Jinx to move the damage counters around. He's counting his energy attachments. So I am noting to my opponent that there's this baby Blacephalon dynamic where your opponent's decks can one-hit KO you, but you're not sending up your main attacker unless you can one-hit KO them, which is what's happening right now. So Omar leaves his Houndour active because he still doesn't have knockout on my Tapu Koko VMAX. I go with hammers again. I mean, there's no harm in playing them, so why not? And I get the single strike energy removed. I get the Trode, and I just play down the Electrode just because I don't want to lose it, and I'm about to, regardless of whether I'm going to play it this turn, use its ability this turn, because I don't want to lose it, because I'm about to do Professor's Research, which I assume I'm going for a Weakness Guard energy. There we go. I get the Weakness Guard energy. Which means instead of having to do 160 damage, 160 damage, he has to do the full 320. There we go. Easy knockout with Koko VMAX. And I am winning the prize battle at this point. So he does single strike roar to Houndoom. Does Professor's Research. Does a manual attach of basic fighting. Puts down a Nike on the bench. He hits me for 220. 4 Pokemon on the bench with damage counters, and the single strike energy for a total of 220. And I'm saying it in separate parts because it feels good to do that. I know that 220 is not a number, and is not a number. So I'm just saying the phrase 220. 220. Yeah, maybe I won't say that again. I like promoting mathematical literacy. Or literacy in general, so. And isn't a number. So I'm Pokecomming. So I put in, I think that's Dedenne. Ah, there we go, Coco. So, and again, I can afford to leave Coco on the bench. You know, if he uses a turn to not Professor's Research, to Boss's Order it, I mean, he's just wasting a turn. So I don't really care if I leave it on the bench and he can Boss's Order pull it up. I do not care one bit. And I play Marnie. And I go for another hammer, 'cause why not? And I get rid of energy. And I get rid of the basic energy. Omar says, are you sure that's the one you want to get rid of? Yes, I want to get rid of the basic energy because I don't want the single strike energy to get in the discard pile. Because being attached to Houndoom is just as good. It's even better than being in the discard pile because he can't get it back with Vitality Jar if it's still attached to a Pokemon. And I knock out the Primeape. And it's getting close. Yeah. Looks like I've got 2 prizes left here. So, Omar's got no energy. And he's showing how bad his prizes are. So Omar just concedes the game. He already sees. It was so easy to see the forward progress of the game from that point. I tell Omar I had fun. He does not tell me whether he had fun or not. I know he had fun, though. So what did you think about that deck? Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Here you go. Goodbye.